daily and evening basis. It's also where our Scottish Gaelic team for the radio and television also broadcast from. And this building straight ahead in front was the first purpose-built high-definition sound studio to be built in Scotland. The next stop will be stop 13 for the Hilton Garden Inn Hotel. Now, by the second half of the 19th century, Glasgow was the third biggest port in the UK, and it was the workshop of the Empire. We built the QE2, the Queen Mary, and the Hood, to name but a few sailing vessels. During the 19th and 20th century, that was not including the 30,000 other vessels which were built on the Clyde. However, between 1939 and 1945, during the Second World War, 400,000 tonnage of shipping was built every single year. And the River Clyde was often referred to as being the Clyde Symphony, due to the noise of the many rivets being hammered into the many shipping vessels on a daily basis. Over to your left is the side profile of the Clyde Auditorium or Armadillo. We're about to cross back over again the Squinty Bridge or the Clyde Arc Bridge, which is its proper name. At night time, the bridge gives dramatic lighting effects, with the curvature of the bridge itself being lit up with the different colours of magenta, greens and blues. And it's very impressive to see this bridge we're crossing over right now at night time. Over to your left is the Finneson Crane. If you wish to take a good photograph, now is your chance. Used to lift up many of the heavy manufactured goods which were shipped out all over the world, including steam locomotive engines, tram cars, many of which you will now see in Hong Kong today. They were built in Scotland. Straight ahead in front is Finneson Street, named after the Reverend Finney, who once lived in Finneson. The next stop is 14 for the Clyde Auditorium, or as I mentioned, the Armadillo. And it was designed by Sir Norman Foster. Sir Norman Foster also designed another modern landmark in Dubai in the Middle East. Straight ahead in front of you, the shape of the Clyde Auditorium was meant to resemble the upside down hulls of the many ships from the Clyde's past shipbuilding industry. But it has also been referred to as the Armadillo, named after the small native South American mammal. Inside this venue on the left, you can book tickets for some of the up-and-coming shows in the evening. To the left is the Scottish Exhibition and Conference Centre, where many of the conferences are held within and where many of the top A-listers perform. On your left-hand side, at the moment being constructed, is the Hydro Building. When it is open next year, it will hold approximately 13,000 people. It will be used partly for the Commonwealth Games. After this, it will give much needed space for the many top A-listers who come to perform in Glasgow, and it will be also used for conferences within. Straight ahead in front of you is that other round red brick rotunda building, and it's now a Japanese restaurant, this one. The next stop will be stop 15 for the Riverside Museum. Free entry and well worth a visit. Inside we have vintage tram cars, vintage fire engines, we have a reconstruction of an old cobbled street from Glasgow's days gone by, and we have the 1930s, 40s style of sweet shop, which was available back in the day. And we have many small model versions of the many ships that were built on the Clyde, and some of which I already mentioned. The Riverside Museum was designed by Zaha Hadid. It cost approximately £75 million to complete. Has anyone watched The King's Speech, the film?
Yes.
Well, you might like to know that Glasgow has the original car, which once belonged to King George VI. And in the movie, the car, which was said to have been the original car of King George VI, was a copy. But Glasgow now has the original. And it was kindly donated to the people of Glasgow to show the world from Sir Arnold Clark of the motor car industry. He gave Glasgow a loan of it, and you will see it at the Riverside Museum, which is our next stop. We also have touchscreen facilities within the Riverside Museum. If you look over to your right hand side, beyond the motorway is, you will see the rail line which links Glasgow Central Station to Dumbarton, Helensburgh and Balloch. Over to your left is the tallest standing free structure in Scotland. It's called the Glasgow Tower. Sadly, it's no longer in operation due to a mechanical fault. When it was in operation, it could hold up to 25 people in the observation cabin, giving you a 20-mile radius view across the city of Glasgow and the surrounding countryside. Over to the left, where the roundabout is situated, once stood the shop of Thomas Lipton. It dated 1871, and Thomas Lipton left Glasgow aged 17 to try to make his fortune in the United States of America. What he learned whilst in America was how to advertise, and he had cartoonists paint smiling pigs' faces squealing off to market. When he came back to Glasgow, he imported cheeses from America and had them filled with sovereigns. He held competitions to name the weight of the cheeses, and if you were lucky enough to find the sovereigns, then boy, you were lucky. And indeed, Thomas Lipton tea is drunk all over the world today. 10,000 cups of Lipton tea is drank every single day in the United States of America. Over to your right, like tall mechanical dinosaurs in the distance, is the Govan Shipyards of BAE, the only builder of large warships today, and they're building one of the destroyers at the moment. So this is stop 15, approaching. Over to your left is the Glenlee Tall Ship. If you show your ticket from City Sightseeing, you receive £1 off each. was built in 1896, circumnavigated the globe 4 times. On board we have a refurbished captain's cabin, an audio trail facility. And if you look over to your left at the moment, you'll see a vintage bus. Further down the River Clyde is the area where Billy Connolly worked in the shipyards, just down beyond where the BAE shipbuilding company is based. And Billy Connolly is said to have got much of his Glaswegian humour and patter whilst working in the shipyards. As to pass the day, the men would become humorous and crack jokes. And that certainly made the day go in a lot quicker.